No, dummy, I knew that would get up. Listen to this. But the truth of the matter is that regardless of how brilliantly they execute their responsibilities, the amazing thing is that crime levels in New York are almost as high or higher every single year than they ever were before. It keeps climbing every year. 20 years ago, there was about 1/5 as much crime in the city as there is now. Why is it with the best police department, and nobody doubts the greatness of our police department, why is it that they're inadequate for the job? And if that's right, why is it they can't stop the crime in a major city? When I say inadequate for the job, it's no reflection on them. What do you mean? I'm not reflecting on them. I'm reflecting about the audacity, the criminality, the viciousness, the violence, and the hate that permeates our society. That no matter how great a police department is, they can't control the levels of crime that go on in the city. There's always 1,000 times more murderers and criminals and hateful, vicious human beings than there are decent people. Why is that? What could we do about it? Why is everybody in New York has to have something to protect them besides himself? They marry a woman they hate because she's a good fighter. People who don't have a husband or a wife or a child have a dog in the house. Why? Why do they have to catch dogs, whatever you call those dogs, that have to chase all kinds of venomous, vicious people from your doorstep? Why? Why do you have to have thousands of means of protection? Not one person walks straight in New York. Everybody who walks in New York is looking this way and thinking that way. And that's how everybody walks in New York. They all say hello, everything, nice to see you. I always say, son of a gun. Sure, I always. Because there used to be a time that only elderly people or people in very bad shape were afraid to walk in the street. Now the healthiest, tallest, strongest man in the world, after 11 o'clock at night, he's afraid to walk the streets of New York. Why? Why do we tolerate it? Why do we accept it? Why is the toughest and biggest and strongest country in the world could do anything about crime? In any other country in the world, we can wipe out any other country, but we can't stop one crook with a half a gun standing around by himself waiting to attack an old Jew in my condition. Where is that police? Where is it that we don't have enough? You know how many cops we would have to have? Estimates were made about how many cops it would really take to actually stop crime in New York. It would take, according to the latest estimates, 100,000 cops to put a major dent in the crime in New York, even if we have the best police department that ever lived. Now, what could we do about this? What have we done before? What are we doing now? What are we planning to do? How many questions am I going to ask you? The questions are a lot better than the answers so far, but we're going to find out the answer to these questions in just a minute. If we could find one intelligent person in this group. I didn't expect it to be you. Forget about it. Well, I recognize you. You're a cop.
I'm a retired detective.
But in your condition, you think I thought you were still working?
Jackie, well, Jackie, you see, you don't understand something. The way you're speaking is that the cop robberies, the criminals are doing it, not the cops. The problem, when you get a person locked up for 10 different times for different crimes, and our judicial system is bring them in, and they're letting them go to copping out to 6 months in jail, and they're coming back out, they're predicate felons over and over. The problem stands here. The problem means that you have to build more jails, and you have to build jails for maybe $6,000 a cell and not $150,000 a cell. You have to build more damn cells away and leave them away. That's the problem.
The last part of your statement made a lot of sense, but the first part, you made a total fool of yourself. I wasn't saying anything about the inadequacy of the cops. I was saying that criminality is on such a vicious, tremendous numbers of levels. I was trying to bring out that even if you have twice as many cops, you can't catch every crook if there's so many crooks around.
Why don't you take the handcuffs off the cops and let them go out and lock up these drug dealers? Then you don't need it.
I want to ask you a question. Are you trying to say there's not enough jails to keep these people in jail?
I'm trying to say... I'm trying to say when someone commits an armed robbery and he's supposed to get 10 years in jail, he should do the 10 years instead of copping out the 6 down.
Wait a second. So you just brought out 2 points. Number one, you said to me, you just said a second ago, that there's not enough jails. On the other hand, you said they're not getting long enough prison sentences.
Because they're told...
How could they get long enough prison sentences if there's no jail in the first place?
Jackie, we've had...
Did you go to school or this is it?
Jackie, we had judges, we had federal judges making orders and state judges making orders to release prisoners because there's no damn room in the cells. Now, what you have to do is you have to build more prisons. You have schools that are abandoned all over New York City. Let's build some holding detention centers there and give them some good time. And then that same criminal here on the street, that drug dealer on the block that got 15 years is doing all 15 years, and he won't be back out in 6 months. That's your problem, Jack.
I want to ask you a question. Well, thank you. Has any mayor in the city of New York been stymied by the city council? Has any mayor been stymied? Has the mayor asked for enough money to pay for more prisons?
Crime is not a New York City problem.
We're talking about
crime is in Iowa.
We
crime is all over this country.
But we have to use one city as an example of the general problem that's taking place all over America.
What you have
so we're using this city as an example. I'm asking you a question. You've been alive under at least 4 or 5 mayors. Have any mayors tried to get enough funding for more prisons, and have they been curtailed or stopped by a city council?
The mayor doesn't propose prisons. It's a state criminal system.
Now,
you've got to get it through the state.
Now,
and then you have a Republican
Mario Cuomo,
Senate
are you
there.
saying that Mario Cuomo did not ask for enough funding for the prison?
What I'm saying is,
Why don't you answer the question?
When I'm saying that...
I asked you 4 times the same question before I wrap you right in the mouth. That's right. That's right. You might be a cop in the street. I'm the boss over here.
Ask your question.
That's right. And one more time, I wrap you right in the mouth. This is the last time I'm over here. Are you a good fighter? Let me see. You look to me like you're passing away. I'll take a chance. Has Mario Cuomo, answer the question, has Mario Cuomo asked for enough money to have more prisons? Has he proposed? Has he made that proposal?
He has not, and he's cut funding. And I tell you what,
so
we would have a few less if he passed the death penalty for cop killing. We would have a few less in jail if he passed the death penalty that he vetoes every time they put it before the state Senate. Yeah.
Wait a second. Are you all in favor of the death penalty? Yeah. You're all in favor of the death penalty. I want to ask you a question. Do you have any statistics to prove that the death penalty has significantly curtailed crime in the states where they have had it?
I have statistics about 2 people I know wouldn't have been dead today if they would have fried the guy that I locked up for 3 other murders. That's my statistics. That dog wouldn't have been out on the street if he was fried.
A guy wouldn't have been on the street if he was in prison for life either. Mario Cuomo keeps saying they have to put them in prison for life without any benefit of a possibility of parole. To you people, if you don't mind, you're not the only person here. Not to make sense. But it is. I want to... I'm laughing, but I'm getting nervous. I'll tell you the truth. Listen to this. Your honest opinion. With capital punishment curtail crime, is there any figures or statistics to prove it? Hey, here's the ex-police commissioner, one of the greatest men in the history of New York. That's right. That's right. And he's the most respected and loved of all the police commissioners this city ever had. Because these people not too intelligent. Listen to this. No, seriously speaking.
I know him.
I know you're not only an ex-police commissioner, but everybody knows that.
Let him get the mic. When are you going to get it away from him?
Everybody also knows that you're a scholar, that you're also a professor. Is it Fordham University?
No, Brooklyn Law School and Brooklyn College.
Better than us. Better than us. I didn't expect you to have a real good job, but listen to this. Well, I want to know this. This is a question of scholarship. Is it true that the death penalty has curtailed crime? Is there any proof or any statistics? Is there any study that bears that out?
No, the studies all point the other way. It's not much of a deterrent, if any deterrent at all. And the question begs the question. It's because America is a kind of a Christian Judaic society, and we can't give them why penalty. Bo gave a reason. He wants punishment. He wants to punish this guy. We all want to kill the son of Sam for what the son of Sam did. But we can't stand up and say, let's kill this guy because he deserves to be killed. I almost gave his right name. So we say we're going to do it for deterrence. It's not going to deter you from killing anyone. You're not going to kill anybody. I'm not going to kill anybody. I don't think. But we will punish some people that deserve to be punished, and history has always done that. I support it for that reason, not for the silly reason that alleged deterrence. It's not going to deter anybody. There are some people that forfeit their right to live, and they should be killed.
You can't swear for the fallibility of the jury system.
Jack, in this country, it's a country of laws. You're entitled to a fair trial, not a perfect trial. When you die, you get a perfect trial.
But if you're not entitled to a perfect trial,
you get to heaven, they'll give you a perfect trial.
You're saying you're leaving the possibility open that it's always conceivable that the wrong man might be killed.
Mr.
If he's
Mason,
in
the
jail for life, at least you know if we find out differently, he could get out. But if you kill him, there's no way out. And if there's no way out, nobody has a right to take somebody's life for nothing.
Mr. Mason.
What?
New Jersey is in a health care crisis, and it affects you. It's no secret that health care costs are on the rise, but we must decide as a society how to get the health care crisis under control. If you're concerned about your health and how much it's going to cost you to keep it, join me as we explore health care, anatomy of a crisis.
Tonight at 9 on Channel 9. This promotion is underwritten by Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey.
It's been a coast-to-coast saving success, but these are its final days. It's the National Jeep Sale at your Jeep and Eagle dealer. Your last chance to save over $2,900 on Jeep Cherokee. Plus, save up to $900 on the freedom-loving Jeep Wrangler. There are only a few more days to save, so see your dealer soon. Because while our vehicles know no limits, our sales do.
Give me the news without the noise. Same headlines over and over.
It's so annoying.
Make the right choice for news. WCBS News Radio 88.
News Radio 88 gives me the top news stories with a sound that's easy to listen to. It's news without the noise.
I depend on traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8th.
I start my mornings on time with Jim and Bridget.
You get a quick news update. It's a better way to start the day.
Make the right choice for news. Tomorrow morning, switch to WCBS News Radio 88.
Car and Driver has named it to its 10 best list 4 years in a row. Now, there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse you can lease for just $500 down and as little as $149 a month. But hurry, this Eclipse will soon disappear. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. We have a phenomenal show so far. We have an ex-cop here who unfortunately can't find another job. It's the only thing he's got to do for a living. We have a desperate man there trying to talk, and we have ex-Commissioner Ward, one of the greatest men of our time, so we balance it out. We have a genius here, a schmuck over here.
Are we discussing
I'm not
a
talking to you.
topic?
This is a serious topic.
It is a serious topic.
Right.
We've got 99.9% law enforcement people in this audience.
That's right.
All dedicated individuals.
Right, except you. I heard about you.
Well, that's good.
Go ahead.
They put their life on the line every day.
Right.
In the course of their duties. We do the best that we can for the citizens of our society. Our job is difficult. However, it should start in the family. The mores, we're not a person to the best of our ability. And even when we do, the best parent in the world could have an offspring that isn't going to be a good person, could be a criminal. All right, so we got to look at both aspects. We got to look at education as well as we got to look at the criminal justice system.
Nobody disagrees with what you said. If you ask the collective judgment of everybody in this room, do you turn into a more active citizen? We all would say that. Nobody disagrees with that.
So why aren't we doing anything about it?
But while we're trying to do it, or even if we do it, any social philosopher knows that it'll take 10 years, 20 years, 30 years before we could create a crime-rid society. Before we could change all these people into decent citizens. If I'm a murderer right now and you start educating me, I'll still be...
Years ago, if you were on a street corner and you didn't belong there, and the policeman came by and said, move, you moved.
Right.
Because if you didn't, you got a kick in the ass.
Right.
All right? Today,
don't talk that way on this show.
I apologize. Today, and if you went back to your father and you said, the policeman kicked me in the butt, your father give you a beat.
That's
Today, you kick somebody in the butt or smack them in the head just as a little source of discipline.
Right.
Right away, it's a civilian complaint, it's a lawsuit against you, and you're tying the hands of the police.
That's right. So what you're saying is that there's two main problems. Number one, we have to educate the people, which means that you have to turn people's minds around. Criminals will not change into decent human beings in an hour. which means that we have to do something about crime and indoctrinate people enough to become decent citizens. But you're saying even now, while we're educating them, even now, the criminal system works terribly, because when you try to... But you're saying if you try to arrest somebody, it's almost impossible. Because every time you try to arrest somebody, he has so many rights that he has more rights than you have. He could commit all the kinds of crimes he wants, and when you try to arrest him for criminal behavior, you're in more trouble than him. Cops today are hamstrung by so many new legalisms. That makes it almost impossible for them to arrest a criminal. Isn't that a more important question and a more severe immediate problem than education? Education is a long-run solution, but tomorrow you need a solution. Am I right? What's your opinion?
Well, I think today law enforcement officers are subjected to a lot more criticism, a lot more stresses than previously. Take a look at myself. I was a federal agent working 22 years for the government. In 1988, a New York City police officer was murdered by Dominican drug lords. I identified the perpetrators involved in murder. I also identified a major Dominican drug cartel involved in smuggling, money laundering, drug trafficking. I targeted that organization, and I'm very close to them, close enough that they had to change the ties. I am today the first law enforcement officer in U.S. history to be prosecuted and convicted for nonviolent civil rights involving an unlawful search. I have my wife and 3 children in the audience, and tomorrow I got to serve a 37-month prison sentence because the jury believed that the bad guys did not sign a consent to search form. And I have documentary evidence that I was set up by a drug cartel. Mike McAlery of the New York Post did an expose verifying I was set up by a drug cartel. Inside Edition did an undercover investigation where they went into the drug locations and made all kinds of buys of contraband, including narcotics. We tried to bring that to the Justice Department, the administration. No one wants to hear it. No one wants to see the evidence. But yet, tomorrow I go to jail. What has this had on Western? Port Authority of the City of New York has stopped all drug interdiction in the state of New York. State troopers all over the country have stopped drug interdiction programs involving consent to searches. I was a man that believed in the war against drugs, believed in the president. It's a farce. There aren't murderers in the city of New York that go to prison for 37 months. My case did not involve corruption, violence, the use of ethnic slurs. Simply, they believed a consent to search form wasn't signed. And again, we have evidence that it was a drug cartel conspiracy. But we can't go to anybody. No one wants to hear it. So how do we expect law enforcement officers today to go out and want to do their job? I've lost my pension.
Wow, this is the truth. This is the truth. Wow, this is a horrible story. This is a terrible reflection on what's going on in this country. We're gonna take a break and come back in a couple of minutes. It's too much for me to even believe what I just heard. I'll tell you the truth. I've heard of all kinds of shocking stories about how horribly cops are treated, and that's why I've devoted myself all my life to doing benefits and shows and performing and running and chasing every opportunity I could to do anything to raise any kind of funds to help the cops. But I never knew that of a story like this. This is the most horrible story against the cops I've ever heard yet. I will be back in a minute.
The 1992 Toyota Camry. Its features are standard, and its standards are incredible.
Some people people just know how to fly.
Flying?
Flying?
I'll show you how to fly.
Let her go and they aim it high.
Excuse me? This is flying.
You guys call that flying?
Maybe. They call that flying. Wrong. Northwest is flying.
Fly Northwest. 47,000 people bringing you the best on-time performance in the country.
The energy of the Olympic Games. Texaco has captured it on a special videotape. Profiles of Olympic athletes who demonstrated the strength to endure and the energy to go further. This collector's tape is just $4.99 with a fill-up of System 3 gasoline. And it comes with a coupon for a free 2-liter bottle of Coca-Cola Classic or Diet Coke. Good on your next visit. Get your videotape today at Texaco.
America's best-selling minivan, Dodge Caravan.
Now during Dodge's first national minivan sale, get hundreds cash back on popular Caravan options, ranging from leather trims to anti-lock brakes to child safety seats. In addition to cash back on popular options, get a $500 rebate too. See your nearest Dodge dealer by June 22nd.
America's best-selling minivan, Dodge Caravan.
I have to show you something. This is a CD tape that was put out by Warner Brother Records. Warner Records. It's a national CD, and it has songs on it about police officers. And I'd like to read to you some of the lyrics. Excuse my grammar. This is not my grammar. I get my 12-gauge sawed off. I got my headlights turned off. I'm about to bust some shots off. I'm about to dust some cops off. How can we...
Wait a second. Who put this record out?
Warner
Brothers?
Records. I'm told that...
Is this from a rap group, you mean?
Yeah, Ice-T. I
Oh,
thought
I heard of
Ice-T
Ice-T.
was something you drank out of a large glass.
Right.
But this is apparently is a performer.
Right. This is a rap performer
Yeah.
who wrote a lyric that actually suggests that you should go out and kill a cop.
Absolutely. And Warner Records put it out.
Right.
And you...
So
Time
Warner Brothers is actually a complicitous to this crime.
Absolutely.
They're just as guilty as the person who sang it, because the person who said it or sang it never would have been hired if not for Warner Brothers.
So when we talk about respect...
So do you know why Warner Brothers put this out?
To make money. Why else?
How did anybody complain to them about why they would do such a thing?
I understand that...
Did you make any effort to contact Warner Brothers?
Well, I just found out about this the last day or so, but I understand that in Houston, Texas, the police are already boycotting Warner Records, and I tell everyone here that we should boycott them for putting out poison like this. Time Warner. That's the company.
Wait a second. Not only should they be boycotted, there's no reason that they shouldn't be put in jail. Because that's conspiracy. You are helping a conspiracy to commit a crime. If I suggest to you, let's go kill this guy, even if we haven't killed him yet, it's a conspiracy. The singers have formed a conspiracy with Warner Brothers to kill cops. Whether they actually do it or not, whether somebody's actually convicted or not, is not the issue. The issue is that it's a conspiracy to kill. Now, why? Are you a lawyer? What do you do for a living?
Yes, I am the counsel for the Transit PBA in New York City. The best police department in the United States.
If you're a lawyer, do you know if you have a legal ground to stand on in terms of conspiracy?
Well,
can't this be called criminal?
Well, let me say this to you. The president of the PBA, Ron Reale, has asked me to look into this matter and see what we can do legally about it.
Why does he have to ask you? You don't know it about it.
Well, he asked me a lot of
You're a lawyer, Saba. If you're a lawyer, why do they have to tell you? In other words, you never went to school?
I went to school.
But you didn't graduate?
I went to LaSalle Extension University during the mail strike. No, Jackie, really serious.
Who said I have to be a straight man for you?
Really, the last thing
You changed places with me. This was my show.
I understand that.
You Nazi bastard.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. My mother will appreciate that remark. Thank you. I just have one really serious thing to say.
Yeah.
If we're expecting our youth
to respect police officers, then how on earth can we allow our young people to buy trash like this? It is indeed a crime.
I really don't know, but it would sound like the answer to me is very simple, that this is a conspiracy to commit a crime. When people get together to commit a crime, announce such intentions, it's punishable by law. I don't know why this was allowed to come out and why somebody's doing nothing about it. What do we do about this particular situation? This is out on the market now. It threatens the lives of policemen. It literally threatens their lives. Because if this thing becomes a hit and everybody listens to it, how do we know how lawless they'll become? Because they'll think it's acceptable. It's top music from a top company represented by top rap artists. And all of a sudden, this is on the market. We have censorship in this country. Censorship now is in a whole question of legal problems. In some communities, they have more censorship than others, but the Supreme Court recently ruled that censorship has to abide by community standards. And in certain communities, they're not even allowing pornography in any movie. If two people are kissing, you can't allow it. If people are touching, there's all kinds of pornography laws that stop movies from being shown, that stop books from being printed, because there's a lot of severe laws about pornography all over this country. Now, why can't there be a law, or why can't the same law apply to this situation? Why should this be allowed while two people fooling around? It's not.
Jackie.
Let's hear Mr. Curtis.
I'm not a cop. I'm just
I know you're not a
citizen.
cop. They know you're not a cop.
But they've all expressed rage about this case and other cases. But we've heard that word rage in the media lately when we saw Los Angeles go up in smoke. Right. And we saw Ted Koppel interviewing gang members, right? Criminals, making them glorified poster boys. Right here in New York City, we had John Gotti on trial. Public enemy #1, head of organized crime. Take a public popular opinion poll, and everybody goes, thumbs up, John Gotti is great. You have Nino Brown, right, from New Jack City. You have Tony Montana from Scarface. All of a sudden, these are heroes. These are drug dealers. These are dirtbags. And then we see young men, women running through the streets of L.A., free Rodney King. Rodney King wasn't even in jail. It was to free Ralph Lauren off the rack, Sony and Sanyo out of the Korean stores, and to grab every Gucci bag that they could and any designer label they could, and yet we made excuses for that. That's the difference between the time you were growing up and I was growing up, because years ago, if you did that, they'd lock you up, throw away the key, and they'd shoot to kill if you did it.
You might think that I don't know much about trucks. Au contraire. I know the best-selling trucks are Ford. Look, the Ford F-Series is the best-selling full-size in America. 15 years running. The Ford Ranger is the best-selling compact pickup for 5 years running. And no truck can give you better mileage. Then there's the incomparable Ford Explorer, which outsells Jeep and Chevy combined. So what do I know? Ha! See your Ford dealer and see for yourself.
We couldn't make the day any longer, or the distance between people any shorter. But at Cellular One, what we can do is give you the freedom to go where you want to go. Be where you want to be, without ever being out of touch with the people who are most important to you. That's why Cellular One is building a new cellular network across North America. Imagine never being out of touch with your life again. Imagine no limits. To reserve your Cellular One number, just call our number, 1-800-IMAGINE.
No lines longer than your flight. No
I can't seem to find your reservation.
incomprehensible contract. No heater stuck on high in August. No hidden charges. And no lemons. National. No problem.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, Lord. Yeah, ba-dum-bum-bum-bum. Hot, hot, hot. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling?
Man made a great point. This is a phenomenal point that he made. That cops' hands are tied all the time and criminals are getting away with murder because one cop or four cops did something terrible in the King situation. That has become multiplied to such an extent that now a cop is even at a worse disadvantage than ever before in the history of this country. Now every time a criminal wants to commit a crime, he feels he can make a fool out of any cop and get away with it because they know the public is so outraged against the police because of the King situation. So now a cop, every time he sees a crook, he's on the wrong side. It's as if he's the murderer and the crook is wonderful. Every cop that sees a guy commit a crime walks over to him like this, and the criminal is now taking out a camera ready to take pictures. So as soon as he makes one wrong move, there's 12 partners ready to take 2 more pictures. They're running around with cameras, and cops have their hands tied. The whole system of law and order in this country has to be revamped and revolutionized. All of a sudden in this country, because of the guilt that our society feels about how we might have persecuted people 20 years ago or 100 years ago, or people were at a disadvantage in terms of the law, and a criminal's rights weren't enough protected 100 years ago. We're so desperate to make sure that they have every right now that we've taken the rights away from any decent person. And it's impossible now for a cop to do a job because we're living in the past with the guilt of the past. The truth of the matter is we had a different society 50 years ago when everybody was law-abiding and once in a while a guy committed a crime. Now criminality is a way of life for millions of people. And instead of going after them, we're so intimidated by them and by the crimes of the past that we do nothing about crime today.
So it's time to shake up the system. I think the Democrats have had their chance and the Republicans have had theirs. Maybe it's time for an independent who can come in and do something really different.
First of all, it might be time for an independent, but you don't know what Ross Perot would do about crime because you don't know what Ross Perot would do about anything. All you know is that he has a southern accent and he says, you see that? It's very simple. No matter what you ask him, he tells you this is none of your business. He doesn't have to answer to you. I got $3.5 billion. You don't like it, that's it.
That makes his
He answers no question about any subject, and I don't think you wouldn't hire a busboy in a restaurant if you knew as little about him as you know about Ross Perot. He might be the greatest man that ever lived, but he might be the worst. You don't know because he didn't tell you. You asked before you want to vote for Clinton, you want to know every move he made since he was 2. Before you want to vote for Bush, you have every lie he ever told against him. But before you want to vote for Perot, you say he's the man. Everybody who says he's the man, ask him why. Because I like it. Because of what? Everybody says the same thing. If he's such a successful man that he can make $4.5 billion, he's the guy I want. Schmuck, he's not going to give the money to you. He's not going to make you a partner, and you don't know what he's going to do. Why should Clinton and Bush have to answer every question, and he has to answer nothing? Ask him any question. What should you do about unemployment? Go to work, and that's it. Try the street. Sit in the none of my business. They actually asked him, what should we do about the trade bill? He said, pay it, and that's it. Yeah. Everybody who's telling you he wants to vote for Perot has no idea why. And you know something, another thing that's interesting is that everybody who's voting for him says the same thing. He'll never get elected. They're all voting for him. Yes.
I was here last year when we had that special. Franco Di Domenica. I'm the only Italian here from Italy, I guess, but I have a lot of
You're an Italian from Italy? That's new.
Wow. In fact, I
you know any Italians from Japan?
I happen to be... I happen to be
He's an Italian
lawyer.
What? I'm saying that?
Does anyone need my service? I'm an Italian lawyer. Only for the Italian laws, since they are not doing so well.
This is not an unemployment office. If you're looking...
Well, I can replace it then.
This is a TV show.
See, I can assist them. Maybe we'll train them in Sicily, over there, with the mafia there in Sicily. Jackie.
Yes.
I would like to send the regards of my friends at the Police Benevolent Association, New York City Transit Police Department. The president is an Italian American. Here's all the Italian American friends here. Their origin is from Italy, around my home.
I want to ask you a question. Could you answer this question for me? Italy is a very big country. Keep your mouth shut. There's a show here before I wrap you in the mouth. What is this? Italy is a very big country. You couldn't go over there.
I can't even. Actually, my question was, Jackie.
Yes.
Will you support Rudy Giuliani as the next mayor of New York City for law and order in New York City?
I support law and order in New York more than anybody. I fight and I'm willing to die for the cops of this country more than anybody. I don't have to answer for my credentials and my support and concern and compassion for every cop on every beat. You know, it's unbelievable to me that if a guy comes back from a war and he almost got into a fight with somebody overseas, we march him up and down every town in America. He's a war hero. What did he do? They don't remember, but he got a badge, he got a schmata, he got an honor. I'm not saying there's no real heroes. There are real ones. But even the semi-heroes become celebrities when they come back to this country. But if a guy is in a war zone every day in New York, and literally has to take his life in his hands, and is almost killed every day of the week, and he has to thank God every time he comes home, and his wife and his children and his family always have to wonder and worry if he's going to be okay another day. Nobody cares, nobody worries, and they show no interest. And every time, God forbid, something happens to a cop, like this man said, you see it on the 7th page, it's not important. Because crime has become such a way of life in this city, and in every major city, that we consider it just another normal day. When there's a war breaks out, we know it's an unusual circumstance, so the whole world gets excited with patriotism to do something about it. But here, more people get killed than in most war zones. More people were killed in New York in the past year, about close to 800 people, than in most places we consider a war zone. If it was happening that much crime in another country, we would send stealth bombers, and we would send 15 million troops. We would start a whole campaign wars. It's a jungle war in some Putziana joint in Philadelphia. In some African country. Not that I'm saying they don't deserve help. Maybe they do. But all of a sudden, when it happens here, nobody cares. Because that war happens once. Here, it's every day. It's a way of life, and we accept it as a way of life. Who ever thought that 50 years ago, in a civilized society like ours, we would accept the idea that 3,000 people a year have to get killed in the streets, and we don't even care about it. And we just accept it as a way of life. That a cop gets killed almost every month or two, and we accept it as a way of life. That firemen are killed, not only in fires, but by people throwing rocks at them when they're trying to put a fire out. In a lawless society like ours, we don't even consider it a war or even a problem. It's a way of life now, which is a sad reflection. Where is that Italian? I'll wrap him right down.
Give me the news without the noise. Same headlines over and over.
It's so annoying.
Make the right choice for news. WCBS News Radio 88.
News Radio 88, the top news stories was easy to listen to. It's news without the noise.
I depend on traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8th.
I start my mornings on time with Jim and Bridget.
You get a quick news update. It's a better way to start the day.
Make the right choice for news. Tomorrow morning, switch to WCBS News Radio 88.
Often you'll hear about low new car payments that are very attractive. Such is true with the $249 per month Buick Regal payment. The difference here is how well equipped this sporty new Regal is. At $249 per month, the equipment list includes power steering and brakes, automatic transmission, air conditioning, power windows and locks, AM/FM stereo cassette, and more. Compare the quality, the luxury features, and the new special incentives. If you do, you'll choose a Buick Regal.
Gotten enough those lashes, I told myself. Come on, do it. Just try that new Almay Triple Thick Mascara. That's what I said, and that's what I did. And you know what? I get really thick lashes. How about 300% thicker? And how about really gentle? Isn't it time you took your lashes off their diet? Almay. Why would I use anything else? And why would you?
In just a few short weeks, Alexander's will close its doors forever. Now, during the final weeks of Alexander's going out of business sale, cashiers deduct a huge 40% off the lowest marked price of every item in Alexander's entire inventory. Everything must be sold to the bare walls. It's the end of an era. Save at least 40% on every item in every department in Alexander's now. Time's running out. Shop Alexander's today.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. I see a lot of people standing there, but don't take it personally. This lady's been trying desperately for a long time. What's on your mind?
Hi, I'm a sergeant with the Transit Police Department, and it's stories that you're hearing today, actual stories, that hopefully will tell the public what a police officer goes through every day when he's out on patrol. Whether on uniform or he's undercover, the amount of stress that pays a part of his life every single day, and what he gives to you, society, in return is that he's trying to protect your neighborhood. And that's what we have to focus in, helping the police officer out so that he could help himself and reduce the amount of stress that he has to deal with every single day.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry we didn't ask you before. That's the most intelligent remark we heard in this whole show. And you're not a bad-looking person either. Do you, if I'm not too personal, are you married?
No.
No, we could work something out. Let me ask you a question. Do you work in partnership with a certain male cop?
I used to when I was on patrol. I was a supervisor, and I had a police officer that worked with me usually out on the road.
I want to ask you a very interesting question. When there's a partnership between a man and a woman in police work, do you really feel, I know this is going to disturb a lot of women, but I'd like to ask, do you really feel that a woman is adequate to the job of being an equal partner to a man? Wait, I'll tell you why I asked. I'll tell you why I asked before you attack me.
Jackie, I'm glad you asked me that question. I happen to be the president of the Transit Police Women's Association, and I dare any man that could beat a woman at this job. Women have excelled proficiently, and they've come to the best of their ability in being police officers.
Now I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a question before I go further with this issue. Let me ask you a question. Isn't it true that it takes a certain amount of strength to subdue a person?
Absolutely not. It takes a lot of thinking.
Wait a second. If Muhammad Ali was about to punch me in the mouth, then I'm a great thinker. Do you really feel I have a great chance against him because I have so much intelligence? If Albert Einstein was fighting with Mike Tyson, do you think he would win because he has so much intelligence?
If you think before you act, you could save yourself a lot of problems.
I don't doubt that you could save yourself a lot of problems. But if a guy is 7 feet tall and he's about to cut his throat, the fact of a lot of answers for a TV show is not going to help this guy punching me in the mouth. Huh? Wait. Can you wait a second? I wasn't talking to you. Keep your mouth shut before I bust you in the mouth. It's the last time I'm warning you. That's the last time I'm warning you. Let me ask you a question. Wait a second. People, to deny every time a guy is in a bar, you'll notice he picks on a smaller guy. The biggest bully is not going to pick on a 7-foot-tall international powerhouse because he knows you can get killed there. There must be a reason why lightweights don't fight with heavyweights, because heavyweights are that much stronger. You can't deny that a woman is not as strong as a big man, and you can't deny that in an equal fight she stands much of a chance. There's some simple special thing has power in the hand that could crush and destroy a person if he's that much stronger than you. So how do you justify the idea that a man should go with a woman on a case where 12 people are mass murderers who love to kill Jews in the streets? And now you'll confront these powerhouses. How much help is she really going to be to him if these powerhouses are about to kill you?
She is every able as a man is. What makes you think that another male officer could protect himself against another stronger male?
At least there's a better chance the stronger he is.
If the female officer protects herself and thinks before she reacts, she could save herself from killing herself or getting herself hurt or hurting someone else.
So are you saying? I want to ask you a question. In that case, why do we have only healthy, strong people as cops? Why not have people who weigh a pound and a half and are passing away? Why not have people who have no strength at all? The reason we want them to go to 6 weeks. What's that? What did you want to say, sweetheart?
Women are very capable. It's the skill. It's not the strength. Plus, we have a good friend, Smith & Wesson, and I do recommend that the state of New Jersey, they take care of their officers by making sure that they do have the 9mm, and I suggest that the state of New York do get the officers that.
How strong are they?
What did you say?
I say, how about the cops who are overweight with the beer bellies? How strong are they?
It's this simple. Here's a Camry, this is the Accord, and here's Plymouth Acclaim. They're all in the same class, but there's a big difference in price. And for air conditioning, automatic, cruise control, and tilt steering, here's how it stacks up. You pay up to $4,800 more for the imports. You can save a lot of money with Plymouth Acclaim. The imports are nice, but come on, they're not that nice. The real advantages for the real world are at your local Chrysler Plymouth dealer.
The School of Hard Knocks. History. The heavyweight champ for 7 straight years was Larry Holmes. Anatomy. The Holmes hammer. The most devastating jab in boxing. Mathematics. Evander Holyfield. Bicep 17 inches. Reach 77 inches. Career wins 27-22 by knockout.
School's in session. You got a lot to learn.
Live from Caesar's Palace. Budweiser presents Holyfield versus Holmes. The World Heavyweight Championship. Live on pay-per-view. Call your local cable operator to order.
Thanks to our home equity loan from Statewide Capital, we were able to add a playroom for Susan.
1-800-DIAL-CASH.
Thanks to our home equity loan from Statewide Capital, we lowered our monthly expenses by consolidating our bills.
1-800-DIAL-CASH.
1-800-DIAL-CASH. For years, homeowners have been calling us the fast, simple home equity loan. I'm Green for Statewide Capital. We make money easy, even if you've been turned down by the bank or have past credit problems. So remember, Statewide Capital lends money fast. Call 1-800-DIAL-CASH.
New Lipton Original. Finally. All natural, real brewed, iced tea in a bottle. Lipton Original. As good as it gets.
Crime in the street. Thank you. Thank you. I have to get back to this man because one of the main problem in the city today, we all know, is crime in the streets. There are a lot of vicious crimes from drugs. We know vicious conspiracies taking place all over the city on a multiplicity of levels. But the crime in the streets is the greatest problem that every citizen faces and is troubled about. So since you became one of the guardian angels, and I know you're the top man and you're the main brain of the whole affair, and you make a lot of fancy speeches, and I noticed that the last time you got into a fight, you didn't do so hot, you're all bandaged up already.
It's spousal abuse from my wife.
Oh, yeah. So I'd like I want to ask you a question. What do you think we could really do about crime in the streets, which is the main problem in this city?
Well, remember, every one of these police officers has to deal in a different world. It's the age of the Uzi-toting, dope-sucking, psychopathic killing machine that gets all the attention. I have never been so embarrassed in my 38 years when I turned on the TV one night and saw our mayor, David Dinkins, thanking people for not committing crime, thanking them for not looting. How ludicrous in this society. If it starts at the top with a mayor who's going to thank that same fraternity of the Uzi-toting, dope-sucking, psychopathic killer music. Thank you for not raping, pillaging, and savaging, but let's put this poor police officer away for 35 months. I think all the furniture upstairs is rearranged in the wrong rooms of David Dinkins' head.
You want me to tell you the truth? I'm sorry I didn't talk to you before. I was wasting my time with this pot over here. You're making a lot of sense. But why do you think the mayor actually started to thank the people for not committing crime? That's a sad commentary on the levels of crime we anticipate in our major cities. And it talks about how horrible it is and how much we accept it as a way of life, that it's an aberration. It's unusual when they're not committing crime. That we have to thank God that there's a day of peace here. We have so much crime that it's a natural way of life. Do you believe that you have to imagine a society which is called civilized, where we were amazed that people would not kill somebody for one day? A whole day of not killing people is a celebration here. Now the question is, why is it a guy like you with this fancy hat and all these outfits, who are marching around in the streets of New York for 3 months already, or 9 years? How long are you marching around with this outfit?
12 years.
I notice you don't watch it too often either. It's a joke, it's a joke. I would like to know, why with all your marching around, why is it that you haven't seemed to have made any perceptible inroads in the whole problem of the street crime? Have you?
Well, I'll tell you what the problem is. It's the same problem that you had with Bernard Goetz. The innocent protect themselves. They're the ones in jail. If I take a drug dealer who's dealing drugs outside of a school, and you and I both know that they're killing our children, and I decide to go up there and slam them and jam them, give them a therapeutic back massage, have them suck some concrete, right? I go to jail, not the drug dealer. Now, you tell me what's right and what's wrong. In the old days, if there was a guy on the corner creating a hard time, you didn't wait for the cop on the beat. It was somebody coming off their porch, out of their house, the men in the community putting their trousers on, who went out and taught that young Huckleberry a lesson. That's the difference between why things were better back then and things are paralyzed right now. Because we don't support the law-abiding people. The people want to take back the streets. We lock them up and throw away the key. Meanwhile, the jackals, the vultures, and the buzzards keep dispensing death, and they have a run of the city. That's the difference, Jack.
You notice he's looking at you when he said it. He was looking at you when he said it. We've said this many times throughout the show, that people have to get more respect for the law officer and more involved and more concerned and celebrate him when he takes his life in his hands and when he does things that are heroic. We have to find ways to thank God for him and celebrate him instead of taking him as just another normal person walking around with a typical everyday job. Very few people in the world would take the job that you have, and they ought to realize it. And they ought to respect it and appreciate it, that they would never have the guts to do what you're doing. And instead of finding ways to criticize a cop, they should be celebrating you and thanking God for you as much as we thank God for any Congressional Medal of Honor hero.
Channel 9 News at this hour.
I'm Mullen Smith. Tune in tonight at 10 for a report you won't want to miss. We'll bring you more on health care, anatomy of a crisis. Tonight, people fighting for life and facing financial devastation. Also tonight, possible vaccine and the fight against Lyme disease. We hope you join us.
This Channel 9 News update is brought to you by Mitsubishi Motors. The word is getting around.
Car and Driver has named it to its 10 best list 4 years in a row. Now, there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse you can lease for just $500 down and as little as $149 a month. But hurry, this Eclipse will soon disappear. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around.
Some people just know how to fly.
Flying?
Flying?
This is how to fly.
Nice try. But this is how you fly.
That's not flying. This is flying.
This is how to fly.
They call that flying. Wrong. Northwest is flying.
Fly Northwest to over 200 destinations in the U.S., Asia, and around the world.
I like the sound of some garlic and spice. Sizzler, sounds good. Scampi and steak, now that sounds nice. Sizzler, yeah, sounds good.
Here's two of your favorites, shrimp scampi and grilled steak. Together for just $8.99. How does that sound?
Sizzler, sounds good. Sizzler, that sounds good.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, amidst all of the tragedies that we're talking about, there is one major tragedy that we should focus on. The tragedy of Joe Acapinti. That this man is going to go to jail for 37 months for trying to do his job. An innocent man is being railroaded by whoever did it. And we want everybody who's watching the show to please send in a letter, a telegram, call us, mail us, do whatever you can. Do whatever you can. Thank you. Do whatever you can to send us a letter about your outrage that will express the significance of how much it disturbs you and infuriates you that a thing like this should be allowed to happen. We will send it to the proper authorities to try to get as much attention out of them as we can for this horrible offense to decency. Thank you and good night.